Hello again and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is the second part of a 5-part series I am doing to show you guys the 5 types of financial trackers that I use on my Hobonichi weeks. So for today, it's the second one. Okay. So this is my investment tracker. As you can see, I've used an entire spread for this particular tracker, with the left and the right portion being quite different from each other. The left portion focuses on the capital and deposit records that I have. Essentially, there are different types of investments that I have already made actually, and I will be listing them here, preferably in order of date, when I deposited there or when I first opened the investment portfolio. So it's very paramount to me to list down the type, of course, because there are different types of investments that can be made per person. Of course, again, the date, when I opened the account, when I input the amount, I mean the total that I have. If it's already an existent investment, then I would just put the grand total under amount. If it's an investment where I will be adding, let's say, a certain amount every month or every quarter of the year, I will indicate the amount that I add here and the date. So again, it's essentially practicing a sense of compounding on my investments. So I don't just wait for the interest or the returns. I still put in subsequent deposits so that the capital will get bigger. The location is essentially where it is. So it can either be with me online, with records particularly. It can be, if it's, for example, a lending firm, it could be with the owner of that lending firm. If it's cryptocurrency, for example, if you guys are familiar with that, it can be in certain apps where you can store cryptocurrency in digital wallets and many more. So that's what this location is for. So I'm assured I know where I can find my investments if ever I do need to pull them out. And of course, the grand total. So again, every time I make a recurrent or subsequent deposit to my investments, I have to indicate the grand total. So if I started off with a certain investment at 200,000 and then I added 10,000 in the next month, I'd have to indicate 210,000 under the grand total. Okay, so it's important for me to keep track of my investments and how much money I'm putting in every basket that I have. Now let's move on to the right side. So the right side focuses on the actual interest and the returns that I do receive from my investments. So the source essentially is the type from this side. So I can indicate here if the investment is, let's say, coming from a lending firm, a particular mutual fund, etc. I will indicate the date when I receive the interest or the return. Of course, the amount that I actually got back, so interest. So let's say I get 1% off of a 300,000 investment. So I always indicate 3,000 here, right? So as 1% of 300,000 is 3,000. And then I indicate the location. Where is it? Okay, so if it's an interest, it's usually given back to me in a check. It can be directly deposited to my bank accounts. But of course, everything is different. How I receive my interest varies depending on the investment. So this is very essential for me. It's crucial to know where my interest or my investment returns land, okay, and where I can find them. So it's easily traceable where the money comes in, and I can also double check if the amount is correct. And again, grand total. So every time I receive something new, I have to indicate the grand total of the interest. So disregarding the investment capital. Okay, this is its own grand total, and this is its own grand total. So for example, after a few months of, let's say after the first quarter of 2022, so that's 3 months covered, and for every month I receive 1% of that 300,000 investment. So that means I should have a grand total of 9,000 by the third month. I hope that makes sense. And finally, I indicated remarks just to add, in case I will be using certain amounts, I will be inputting it here. For example, if I need, if there's an emergency with a car repair that I need to pull out funds for, and I wanted to specifically pull it out from the 9,000 grand total that I already have from one investment. So I can indicate it here on the remarks. It's just so that there is still some record in case the grand total doesn't add up. So if there are negative transactions, if I have to pull out certain amounts from my interest collection or my interest fund, it's very, very important that I keep track of that, so I don't forget and I don't panic if I realize, oh no, I lost like 5,000, because that's I think a really huge concern for a lot of us, keeping track of our finances and our money. Essentially, it's difficult when we don't, because sometimes it surprises us when we realize we've lost a certain amount and we weren't keeping record of it. There are times you'd even go as far as to simply forget what you used a certain amount for. And when you do, it's so hard to rack your brain for what you actually spent on, or if you even spent it. Especially for those of you who have perhaps joint accounts or a shared ATM card or a shared bank account with others. It's very difficult, I'd understand, if of course the other person or persons who can access your account won't be informing you if they've taken a certain amount from the account, and that adds to the difficulty. So at least with these types of trackers, particularly for your investments, for example, you can keep track of everything. You can manage your money, what comes in, what goes to your capital as additional investments. And it's highly important because this gives you an overview of how your finances are doing. If you have extra money, then it might be easier for you to do certain activities or to go through your hobbies without really worrying about the extra cost that it entails on your actual lifestyle budget. So that's something to take note of. Okay, so once again, I hope this helped you guys. I hope you appreciated this idea. I don't think many people are actually tracking their investments, I've noticed. I feel like in part it may be because they receive reports of certain investments, but personally, I like having everything in one space, and at a glance I can already see an overview of everything that I've invested. So I hope you guys found this useful. If you did, please leave a thumbs up. If you feel like there are other things I could have done better, or if you have comments on the actual tracker that I use, please feel free to leave a comment below. I really enjoy reading your feedback on my videos. It really helps me a lot to improve, as well as to essentially expand my horizons and learn more. If you guys have recommendations on how you do your trackers, it'll be great to share it, because you'll also be sharing it with other viewers. So that's great. So again, there aren't many investment trackers I see on YouTube. I hope this one helped. I hope this gives you an idea on what you can do if you do want to customize it, or if you want to adopt this particular tracker system. By all means, please be my guest. I'm very happy whenever I manage to help people with their own financial tracking. So that's it for today, guys. Again, this is the second part of a 5-part series. I hope you look forward to the next 3 videos. as I will be sharing a little bit more complicated tracking systems for my next financial trackers. Alright, so thank you very much for watching. Again, like, subscribe if you haven't yet, and leave a comment below if you'd like to. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Take care, and take care of your healths. Please always rehydrate yourselves. As you can hear, I'm quite parched. I'm not feeling very well today, but yeah, I hope this helped nonetheless. Have a great day, everyone, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!